My goodness, that evil Trump. You know what he did? He got Canada and Mexico to agree to patrol their borders, stop the flow of fentanyl into our country and illegal aliens. Isn't that horrible? Isn't he the most horribly person from the pits of hell that you've ever seen? No. You know, it's funny because I just watched a video, or maybe it was an article, but it was talking about trolling. And it was saying all of these statements that Trump is making, like buying Greenland, the Panama Canal too. Oh, they've decided not to renew a contract with China, and they're going to work on making relationships better between them and the U.S. But so this article is talking about saying he trolls. In other words, he puts these statements out like, oh, I want to buy Greenland. Oh, Canada would make a good 51st state. Oh, if we had to, we could go, take over the Panama Canal and run it ourselves. Oh, let's change the name Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. So all these sorts of things that some of them do sound kind of ridiculous, but they're all in there, as part of his making the deal, the art of making the deal. And, with Canada, Mexico, and the Panama Canal, he got exactly what he wanted. Now, whether the tariffs are suspended for a month on Canada and Mexico, now whether he'll want to still do something about the trade imbalance, I'm not sure about that. He might, who knows? We never know what's going to happen. But for all these people, Trump's horrible. He's done more in his 2 weeks in his office to fight the war on drugs than any president, including his 4 years, but any president even did in 8 years. This is going to be a major thing. Fentanyl, there's 150 deaths every day of Americans with fentanyl overdosing. And of course, fentanyl is an extremely powerful drug, so very minute amounts of it can be an overdose. So it's very hard to regulate. Now, I know someone that had the fentanyl patch, and it worked like a dream for them. They were on the same dose for like 10 years. It worked really well. But evidently, people even get those patches and eat them. And it's like, oh yeah, wonder what's wrong with that. It's supposed to be time release and they're eating it. So there's always going to be people that abuse drugs. But I think it's quite the accomplishment to come up with this level of cooperation between Canada and Mexico and Panama. I think, we're in a situation now, we have this false impression, I believe, that things in the Middle East are cooling down. But, of course, what's really happening is Hamas is just restocking their weapons. We're giving them a period to do that so that they can try again and we go through this whole thing all over again. But so we're still there. We're thinking we have credible beliefs now that Israel will attack Iran's nuclear facilities, and they might be using our bunker buster bombs to do it. But so, the potential for World War III is still there. And it's like, gee, if you're a country in the real world that's right next to us, and World War III breaks out, you better hope that you're on our good side. You better hope you're an ally. You know what I mean? So I think it's, maybe they don't look at it the same way, but having the United States be strong is good for Mexico and it's good for Canada, especially in the event of some kind of war event. So, someone was saying, well, Trump's so horrible. He's going through all these organizations and he's cutting people out. Some of these people, the DEI department's cut. Some of these career politicians, gone. And some of the heads of these big departments of the FBI, gone. And it's like, now we're getting lists of what FBI agents were involved in the J6 conspiracy, insurrection. And they may be gone too. But the thing is, gee, I've worked in companies too, and you go in a company and you see this happen over and over again. But we're going to adapt it to kind of like Trump. You get into this company, you're going to try to do things a different way, and no one cooperates with you. And eventually, instead of the company saying, yeah, this isn't working out, we're getting rid of you. So you go, and then somehow you really like that job and you really wanted it. It's the plant is near your family and everything about it. The pay was good. So you get in again. So what's the first thing you do? You get rid of all of the people that caused trouble the last time, who wouldn't participate in your vision for the company. And, I'm sorry, but middle management people do that especially. They come into companies and they have like the staff that follows them around. Oh, so-and-so's working this company now. I'll offer him this much to get him. All these people for other companies that worked with him once, he gets them together and works for them again. I've seen that. And that's how companies function. So, to me, it's no big deal that Trump is doing it. And actually, people who voted for Trump do want the FBI gutted and rebuilt. They don't want any of this political shenanigans. And, even Fetterman, it's funny, Fetterman, when he got elected, I said, oh my goodness, here's a brain dead person that they're going to have in Congress. And he is actually the most reasonable Democrat there is out there. He's like, oh yeah, all these things with Trump, that was all politically motivated. And, and not that he's some kind of Trump supporter, but he knows Trump is president now. He's going to deal with it. And he's honest enough to say that all of this crap they did, they wouldn't have done if he wasn't running for office. And, big surprise, they couldn't keep him out of office. Even an assassination attempt didn't keep him out of office. So I think it's a really good day for people who want to stem the flow of drugs into the United States, people who want to stem human trafficking of children into the United States. It's a good day for that. And this statistic is too wild to even believe, but I've seen it a number of times. So, even if it's only a third right, it's still ridiculous. But they say Biden lost track, his administration, of 350,000 children. Where'd they go? Well, I just read recently there was this operation, and they liberated several children from this, sex trade. And it's like, gee, is that where a lot of them ended up? If any of them ended up, that's horrible. But it's like, gee, we can't do that. We just can't have these borders open, and people will cry and say, oh no, our borders aren't open. Well, yeah, technically they're not in a lot of ways, but when you catch someone, you release them into the U.S., and they don't have to show up to the court hearing. The court hearings get canceled by the judge. All these people they get in and they're just floating around. They have no status. And it's like that, to me, if that happens, that's the same as letting anybody walk over. So I think there is good days for America ahead.